After spending some time out of the country, you're now heading back on a return flight to the US, and the chances are you purchased some gifts or souvenirs during your travels. You may have even bought some duty-free items while you were there. So which of these items do you have to declare when filling out the US Customs Declaration? How much are you allowed to bring back to the US? And are there restricted or prohibited items you're not allowed to bring back into the US? Well, in this video, I'm going to help answer those questions for you and give you the info that you need to know about US Customs and duty-free allowances. Let's go.
Dream vacations start here.
So let's start with the first question. Which items do you have to declare on the U.S. Customs Declaration form? The answer is every item you didn't have with you when you left the United States for your trip. With that being said, you want to make sure you have all your receipts. You'll be asked how much you paid for each item, including all the taxes. This includes duty-free items and gifts you either bought for other people or for yourself, as well as any merchandise you intend to sell or use in your business. And a quick tip for you here, you might want to consider keeping everything you bought together just in case you are chosen for inspection. It'll make it easy to find everything you bought without having to dig through your bags looking for them. And just to clear up any misconceptions about duty-free items, purchasing duty-free items does not always mean you won't have to pay any duties or taxes on them. They're only duty-free in the country in which you bought them. Now you do get a personal exemption, but there's a limit. And if you go over that limit, you will have to pay U.S. duties on them. In most cases, travelers are allowed to bring up to $800 worth of merchandise back to the U.S. without having to pay duty. Now, there are numerous exceptions that can be applied, but I won't go through them in this video. If you want to know about the exceptions, I will link to the U.S. Customs website in the video description where you can read about the types of exceptions that exist. There may also be certain items from countries that may be duty-free under previously negotiated agreements with the U.S. government, typically items from Caribbean and Andean countries, certain sub-Saharan African countries, Israel, Jordan, Chile, Singapore, Canada, and Mexico are allowed into the U.S. as a duty-free or reduced rate. However, just keep in mind that these items still need to be declared when you re-enter the U.S. Also, household items like furniture, paintings, carpets, linens, and other similar items are duty-free if you've used them for at least a year while living abroad and are not intended to be sold or used as gifts. If you need more information, I will link the U.S. Customs Guide for duty-free and reduced rates. Let me now touch on currency for a minute. You can take out or bring unlimited cash, money orders, and traveler's checks, but if you're carrying more than $10,000 worth, you must file a currency reporting form with U.S. Customs. This includes leaving the U.S. with over $10,000 as well, and I'll make sure to link that form in the video description. Let's move on to prohibited and restricted items. And yes, the U.S. does restrict or prohibit you from carrying certain items into the U.S. Items such as absinthe, firearms, fruits, vegetables, plants, seeds, meat products, and some cultural artifacts are restricted and will only be admitted into the U.S. under special circumstances. Prohibited items would be most drug paraphernalia and items from embargo countries. Again, I'll post a link to all the prohibited and restricted items down in the video description. If you do end up having to pay duty at U.S. Customs, it must be paid upon arrival in the U.S. You can pay with U.S. currency, a personal check from a U.S. bank, or a government check, money order, or traveler's check, as long as the amount isn't over $50 more than the duty you owe. Some locations will also accept payment with a Visa or MasterCard. If you're looking to mail items you have bought overseas back to the U.S., your personal exemption only applies to those things you have packed with you on your return flight to the U.S. If you mail anything back, you'll be responsible for paying the duties and taxes on those items separately. I'll link more detailed information on this in the description for you to check out. If you have any other questions about U.S. Customs, feel free to ask me in the comment section of this video. Make sure you hit the like button if you found value in the information I shared, and consider subscribing to see more of these type of videos. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I can't wait to see you in a future video.